Miami, the market's on fire. To buy, to sell, to hold takes you higher. With Zalewski and Hernandez, you know the sound. Ya tú sabes.
Happy Friday, Miami. This is Buy, Sell, Hold Miami, a real estate podcast. I'm Peter Zalewski, condo consultant, expert witness, founder of the Miami Condo Investing Club, joined here by my partner, my co-host, the moderator, Daniel Hernandez from Compass Real Estate in Coconut Grove. He does single-family houses as well as condos. Happy World Cup, Daniel.
World Cup? We're playing right now, are we?
We're Australia versus
two up. We're up 2-0.
Yep, we got the Aussies, but do never
I thought they
underestimate the
only
Aussies.
played the rugby. It's like football, but it's not football.
Australian rules football.
Australian rules football.
Yeah, they threw a couple elbows.
Hey, who's this guy?
This guy? I think a lot of people are going to recognize this guy.
Or at least recognize his voice, right?
They definitely recognize his voice. They recognize his talent. They recognize his journalistic integrity. And pretty soon they're probably going to be recognizing him up in Washington, D.C.
No kidding. You running for Congress?
Wait, I thought you guys wanted me to talk about the World Cup. You want my analysis?
All right, folks, I wrote a little something. It's not a eulogy. Definitely not a eulogy. And we're not having a deposition here. So this guy, Eliott Rodriguez, he anchored CBS Evening News for a quarter century.
In Miami.
Is that right? Here in Miami.
Yes.
And then you did a little stint in Philadelphia
I did.
early on in your career.
Mhm.
And during the print journalism days, you know about the print journalism days, I still get the newspaper. It's really, really thin now.
Do you really?
And they charge an exorbitant amount monthly for it. It's like $120 a month.
Right. Well, that's your contribution
Well,
to journalism.
It's not a tax deductible contribution. Certainly
But you're
not.
contributing.
So you've won Emmys.
Yes.
Edward R. Murrow
Yes,
Awards.
4 of them.
Mariel Boatlift, you were here for it.
Yes.
Hurricane Andrew, you were here for it. Surfside, condo collapse just
I
a
was
few
there.
years ago. You were here for it. You went to Cuba.
Many times.
I heard you got shoved by Castro's bodyguards.
I did.
That couldn't have been fun.
No, not fun at all.
Not fun. And then when you signed off from CBS
Yes.
4 News, they named a day after you, December 19th, if I understand.
Miami-Dade County did, yeah.
It's Juneteenth, by the way, everybody. Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth.
June 19th. And so now retirement didn't sit too well for you, apparently.
Retirement.
How are you retiring? Come on.
Listen, guys, first of all, thank you so much for the invitation.
Goodness, this is
And as far as real estate goes, buy low, sell high. That's all I've got to say.
no, you'll have plenty more to say about it.
But I worked at CBS News Miami, and I left in December of last year, and I had the shortest retirement in the history of retirements. I was retired for 2 months, and then I decided to do something that some people think is a little crazy, and I see it more as public service. I am running for Congress in District 27. Thank you. Oh, well, have your vote. You live in District 27?
Well, we'll see after this podcast, maybe. I do live in District
Okay,
27.
great.
And we've never met before, for the record.
We never
Peter and
have.
you guys go way back, right?
I've interviewed Peter several times because he was my go-to guy whenever I would do real estate stories to find out what the story was, especially after Surfside. You know, he looks great.
Did he have hair? Like, how long have you known him for?
How about 40 pounds lighter?
Peter, they did a documentary about the recession, and so Peter sends me a clip one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah.
Exactly.
At the M head, we all got it. But I see a clip, and I'm like, that looks like, holy cow, it is Peter Zalewski.
That was Michael Moore. Michael Moore did a documentary called Capitalism, a Love Story.
Yes, I remember it.
I was one of the villains, so he put me in there.
Oh.
Put me in there.
Well, you're no longer a villain in my book.
I don't think he's a villain. No,
You look at the information, you try to smoke out the people who tend to talk a little bit. Let me tell you one thing about real estate. People tend to they get a little bit ahead of their skis. They a lot of hyperbole, a lot of spin. A lot of it's not based on facts.
Right.
Kind of similar to what we're doing on right now. And some would say, if you look at the Oval Office, that is a condo developer, and what you're hearing is the same thing you hear on Brickell Avenue when they're pitching condos.
No
They're
doubt about it.
They're saying whatever they need to say in order to get you sign your name on the list. And what you do, then it's somebody else's problem.
That's right.
So you're joining us today in a time where probably I'd say Americans don't trust news media very much.
Yeah.
Probably. We're well past the Walter Cronkite era of news media.
Very sad.
So, why'd you leave?
Well, I'll tell you why I left. So I worked as a journalist when it's all said and done, 48 years.
But not always in TV.
No, not always in TV. No, I started as a print reporter. I worked at the Miami Herald, the Miami News, and then I worked in TV, first at WTVJ. I worked in Philadelphia for 5 years. Then I worked at Channel 10 in the 90s during what a lot of people consider the glory days of TV with a lady named Ann Bishop and
Yes.
Dwight Lauderdale. And so I worked there for 11 years. Then I went over to CBS News Miami. So I was the main anchor at CBS News Miami for the better part of 25 years. When my contract was up at the end of December, again, after 25 years, after having a career that I felt was a good career where I was able to accomplish the things that I wanted, I reevaluated and I said, do I want to stay with a company that was being sold at the time? The parent
Right.
company of CBS, Paramount, was being sold to David Ellison, who is the son of Larry Ellison.
Billionaire.
What billionaire? He's up right up there, just below Elon Musk, I believe. And they're very tight with the current administration in Washington. And they appointed somebody to be an overseer for CBS News.
An ombudsman.
And
Not even an ombudsman.
a censor is what I call
censor.
it. Now, you have to remember, CBS News has always been the gold standard of journalism in the United States of America. If you think about 60 Minutes, you think about the investigative reporting. You mentioned Walter Cronkite, Dan Rather. I mean, the great, great journalists that came out of CBS. They don't need any babysitting. They don't need an overseer. They put somebody there as a censor because they wanted to create a new Paramount, something similar to Fox News, a more conservative bent and friendlier to the Trump administration, which made the sale possible. The sale of Paramount to the Ellisons would not have been possible without the Trump administration. How did they do it? First of all, they paid $16 million to settle a frivolous lawsuit
For editing.
But
editing.
where's that 16 million going? It's coming here, I heard.
It went to Donald J. Trump, $16 million, the same amount of money that ABC paid, Disney paid, for a comment that I believe it was George Stephanopoulos,
Yes.
if I'm not.
Talking about the civil suit with E. Jean Carroll.
There you go. So $16 million. And the Federal Communications Commission, the head of the Federal Communications Commission, Brendan Carr, also put certain things that had to happen in order for it. One of the things that happened, Stephen Colbert was fired from his job because he was very critical.
Funny guy.
A great guy, funny guy, great following, the #1 ratings in late night TV. Now again, late night TV is not what it used to be. So I didn't want to be part of that. That's one reason. The second reason is I felt that I was working harder than ever and reaching fewer people because fewer people are watching local news.
Well, they're going to Substack.
They're going to Substack. Why are they fewer people watching social news? Because they're getting their information here. They're getting information on their phones.
But it's
They're getting
factual.
in
But it's factual.
Well, some of it
But
is.
are they getting it from the CBS portal on their phone? That's the question.
Not always.
Right.
They're getting it from influencers, and they're getting it from independent journalists. They're getting who knows where they're getting it from.
Well, Barry
That's
Weiss
the
went to
problem.
Substack, and then she came back to CBS. That was
And she has no experience in broadcast television. And this is the woman that they put in charge. And you saw that they cleaned house at 60 Minutes. They got rid of 3 correspondents, including Scott Pelley, who's a terrific journalist. And he said they're trying to murder 60 Minutes, and so he left. So I didn't want to be a part of that. I also saw the changes that are happening in the news business. I don't recognize it. It's different. Again, people are getting, and I'm not blaming anybody for it. I'm blaming the change in viewer habits.
Yes.
It's technology. People are getting their information here. It's quicker. It's not like you have to watch the news at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 11. You watch the news whenever you want. You get here. But there's a price to be paid for that because you don't know the source and you don't know the intent of the person who posted it. And that is the problem with so much misinformation and disinformation that we're getting. So that's when I thought, you know what? The business has changed so much. I don't recognize it. I don't like what's happening with this company. 48 years as a journalist, that was good enough. So I decided to step away without any plans of running for office.
What were you going to do? Alaska cruise.
I was going to just have a good time, enjoy South Florida.
You got some grandkids.
What I have grandchildren, but my kids live outside of here. We can talk about that in a minute. But one of the things I love about Miami from the minute I've lived here is that the freedom that we have thanks to our weather. I love being outside. I'm a tennis player. I'm a cyclist. I love the water. I love being here. So I wasn't going to go anywhere. You asked me what was I going to do? I was going to stay right here. visit my daughters and my grandkids. And my wife is still working, and we're very happy here. And then a group of people approached me and asked me. First, they asked me to be part of a campaign defending immigrants. It was a gentleman by the name of Mike Fernandez, who is very civically involved, and he had a campaign going saying that immigrants should not be treated in the fashion that we were seeing with ICE grabbing people in the middle of the street and putting them in these detention centers.
He was the one running the billboards, right?
Exactly.
Off of the Palmetto and I-95.
He also held back a lot of money from FIU.
Yes,
FIU
because
as
he
well.
disagreed
Yeah, sure.
with ICE in FIU, and he disagreed with the kids who are undocumented not being able to attend and pay in-state tuition. So Mike is a guy who has, really strong values and is really civic-minded. And I'll remind you, he's not a Democrat. I'm a Democrat. But anyway, Mike came to me and asked me if I would be part of that campaign. I was part of the campaign. I was on the billboards and I was on the videos. And then they followed up by saying, "Hey, Eliott, have you ever thought of running for office?" And that's when I said, "Stop right there."
You were set up. They set you
And
up.
that's when I said, "Stop right there." No, but they persisted and they said, "Listen, we think that you would make a good candidate. You're known in this community. You have name recognition. People
Integrity.
trust you. I believe." Thank you, Peter. I believe that I have integrity. I believe I'm a person who has credibility. And so they kept asking me. And finally, I said to them, "All right, listen, you guys, are you blowing smoke? You know where you know what?" I said, "Come to me with data. Come to me. You guys, you love data. I
love
know you
data.
love data.
Big
You
data
love
guys
data.
here.
Big data guys." I said, "Come back to me with data. Do a poll." So they did a poll. They did a poll.
Lo and
the
behold?
poll shows that I could win it. And so I stopped and I thought to myself, I can either do this or I can be miserable, angry, and depressed and cursing at the TV every night because I'm unhappy with what's happening in this country. I almost don't recognize this country. And I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that I feel that our democracy is at stake. So for those reasons, I said yes. I said yes, and I launched our campaign in March, which was a little bit late compared to some of the other candidates, but I still had contractual obligations with CBS. So in March we started our campaign, and I have to tell you, it's going well. We've really struck a nerve. People want to change in the district, and what I am focused on is the cost of living, which has forced my daughters. I have 6 daughters. That's another story for another podcast. My wife and I have a blended family, 6, all girls.
Whoa.
6. And guess what?
How many bathrooms?
Well, the bathrooms are scattered all over
I was
the
gonna
world
say, yeah.
because they cannot afford to live in this community.
Sure.
They have had to pick up and leave. And so that's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on this economic crisis that we have.
Well, I think this is a good segue into buy, sell, hold then.
There you go.
What do you think?
I think it's perfect.
Well, welcome to buy, sell, hold, Eliott. So
Buy low, sell high.
buy low, sell high. So if you're just joining us for the first time today, and Eliott is, format of the show is the following. Peter and I throw around these topics week after week. We sent Eliott these topics last night. Maybe you read them, maybe you didn't. If you didn't read them, it's okay.
I looked at them.
Yeah, you looked at them. So we got you for an hour. We got him for an hour. You promised. She promised. You got him for an hour. And so at the end of each topic, you're either going to buy because you agree with the statement, you sell because you disagree,
Ooh, I love it.
or you hold because you're an adult, we're adults, and we can admit when we don't know, we're just going to sit back, eat popcorn, and, well, we'll watch the world burn, but you'll change it.
Let's do
Yes.
it.
All right.
Good.
So Miami
Yes.
will be affordable again. So you were talking about your daughters. I read your op-ed that you wrote a few months ago.
Right.
Tragic story, teary-eyed,
That's right.
daughter's moving away. Yeah, we're having a kid. My wife is over there. She's wonderful. It would be awful if I had to call my parents and say, "Hey, your grandson's moving away because not because I got a new job, because simply I can't afford to buy a house."
That's
here."
right.
And your situation is not unique.
No.
In 2023, state legislature passed the Live Local Act.
Right.
As an effort, and if you don't know, and I'll assume you don't know, but I'm sure you know,
I know.
that for all of you out there, if a builder wants to build workforce housing, it's economically not feasible, right? So what the state pushed forward is, hey, if you guys do this and make 40% of this housing, workforce housing, forget about the commissions, forget about the public hearings, just go build it. And we'll give you a tax abatement.
Rubber stamped.
But boom, that's the intention. but the municipalities are pushing back on it. Bal Harbor's pushing back on it.
Hollywood.
Hollywood's pushing back on it. The Margaritaville thing is funny, but everybody's pushing back on it. But ultimately, the goal here is to build more affordable housing. So is it really just a price problem, or are there other things happening? Peter and I have talked about the low salaries here. We've talked about the insurance crisis. All been up in the news. Property taxes. Ron DeSantis, lame duck governor.
Don't forget the Airbnb aspect.
Oh, the Airbnb.
A lot of people buying places, turn around and Airbnb them out.
That's the entire central business district.
Pretty much.
So, you're running for Congress. Is affordability on the price? You can't really pull that lever up in DC. We always talk about insurance reform, because insurance is run by the states.
People know where property taxes go. If anybody doesn't know, in the state of Florida, we might be voting in November. Has it been confirmed?
We are voting in November.
We're voting in November.
We don't know what the language on the ballot's going to be.
We don't know what the language is going to be. Basically, the governor, he wants to strip away property taxes. You don't have to pay property taxes if you live in a house. Why? So they can empower Tallahassee. Let all the legislators up there decide where the money's going to go, and then you have to go up there and bend the knee. They want to strip away the power locally. So this is one of the concepts that's basically being thrown out. But where I'm going with this is every time they talk about property tax, people know where the money's being spent. Now, maybe some of it's getting...
Where does my insurance money go?
They don't know where the insurance money's
The
going.
insurance money is going to the insurance companies.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is going
But they go
out of
bankrupt, and somebody's got a yacht in Tampa somewhere, even though their company's bankrupt.
Right, and we're paying the premiums. The money is going to local services that we need
For property taxes.
municipal services
Parks.
that I am worried about with this constitutional amendment. Which, let me make a prediction here, and I'm not a betting kind of guy. I've never been on Kalshi or any of those things. I bet that this thing passes. What do you guys think? Because who's going to vote? Who's going to vote against the lower property taxes?
We talked about it, and I think the lever that they added was the 5% non-homesteaded push. And because when we first talked about this, the original language in that piece of legislation before they voted on it in the House and the Senate was that it would actually hurt businesses and investors because it did nothing for the non-homesteaded guys.
Right.
But now, if you got a portfolio of multifamilies, and all of a sudden you're de-risked, your property taxes might not go up 10% a year. They can go up 5% a year. And so I think the homesteaded folks are voting for this, but now the investor class is voting for this. So I think it passes no matter what sort of language they put on the ballot. Now, the latest...
but they also, you were able to vote to pass usage of marijuana long time ago, and I'm not necessarily
they
partaking.
put a lot of ad dollars behind that.
Well, but what I'm saying is it passed and never was implemented. Was it?
No.
Medical marijuana is...
Medical marijuana.
You can walk in and get medical marijuana
with a doctor's
but
prescription.
I am totally out of...
the Hope Florida thing, the whole Hope Florida thing is for the recreational pot.
Yeah. But didn't that pass?
No,
that one failed.
It needed
That one failed.
60%.
Okay.
it needed 60%. Which
I'll stay in my
I
lane.
think
I'll
they
stay in the
would've
common
gotten-
lane.
Well, that's why I was asking you earlier off the air, or maybe you're...
But I think you make a good point, because affordability is not just about what you pay for your mortgage or for your rent. It's what you're paying for everything else, right? So one thing affects the other. So we have to tackle the affordability problem as a whole. And my opponent, for example, Maria Salazar, she voted to take away health insurance benefits from thousands of people. So if you're paying more for your health insurance, then your housing is less affordable, right? If you're paying more for childcare, because she's voted against more childcare, then your home payment is more unaffordable. It all goes hand in hand. What I would like to do is go to Washington to bring more federal funding for housing affordability. It could be directly to municipalities. It could be directly to, let's say, first-time home buyers, a low-interest mortgage program for first-time home buyers. Try to bring those federal funds here. More infrastructure. My opponent voted against the infrastructure bill, yet she showed up at ribbon cuttings with a check saying that she provided the funds, and people had to fact check her. They fact check her on the spot saying, ma'am, you voted against those funds. She was fact checked live on TV by my colleague, Jim DeFede. And if you guys watch CBS, you know, Jim DeFede is one of the best journalists in the entire state of Florida. And he had to stop her right there as she was speaking and said, no, I'm sorry. You voted against that. And she was like, oh, well, I got to check with my staff. Well, guess what? It was true. She voted against it. So
How do you not know
I-
what you voted for?
Well, I wouldn't ask that question. I would like to know. I would like to know the answer to that. I am an honest broker of information. I believe that I have truth and credibility on my side. For years, people allowed me into their homes to bring the news, and I worked hard to earn their trust. And that's what I want to do now as a member of Congress, and have them know that I am a person who believes in facts, believes in truth, and is not going to lie to you. Is not going to say I voted for one thing and here's the money when I actually voted against it. And that's what she's doing. And all those issues, the price of insurance, the price of healthcare, the price of childcare, the price of gas. Let's talk about the price of gas.
If you go by the
Everything
airport, premiums at $7 a gallon.
Seven.
Seven.
I haven't
But
seen
they're
that.
price gougers over there on Legit.
Seven.
Yeah, just east of the runway. I've seen it.
It's crazy.
Right.
But listen, one of the big things with affordability, I would sort of throw out to everybody is it's all based on interest rates. Interest rates are going up partially because of Iran, but the other part is we're running up the deficit because of the big, beautiful bill where they're giving these tax breaks and we got all of this debt.
Okay.
And as a result, we're a higher risk. We're a subprime borrower. We're
You-
going to get downgraded by the credit rating agencies.
You are a numbers guy, right?
Yeah, I
You're
try
a
to.
numbers guy. The U.S. deficit is 39 trillion
39.
dollars.
I was rounding up because, they're up to headed.
Well,
The momentum we got going.
It's just another trillion.
That's a trillion.
And that affects interest rates. And
Because
that
we're
affects
higher risk.
everybody.
Everybody, if you don't know, if you're a higher risk, if you're a subprime borrower, you go to get a mortgage, they're going to charge a higher interest rate. That's where we are in the United States because they gave a big tax break. The big, beautiful bill. That's what they gave them. All the fat cats up in Indian Creek. Well, I was going to say Washington, but I was saying
In
Indian
the billionaire bunker, they're doing just
billionaire
fine.
bunker. They're all getting the tax breaks. And as a result, we got higher deficit. We got higher interest rates, and it's not going down. Everybody's saying you need a mortgage rate coming in with a 4 handle. Right now it's 6.5.
It's going up,
It's
dude.
likely it's going to 7 before it goes to 4, and therefore
1,000%.
real estate is probably dead in the water because when interest rates
No,
go up,
the
housing goes down.
85% is cash, Peter.
When interest rates go down, housing goes up. We're on the wrong side of the boat. Everybody's piled on the wrong side of the boat. And if you're an owner and you are suffering, you're underwater right now because of Surfside.
You're voting for this property tax.
Yeah, you're absolutely voting for it, but it doesn't mean you're going to be able to live the fight another day.
No, but it's a carrot. That's how bad it is.
Wait. Is it a shiny object?
It's a shiny
We do
object.
not fall for shiny objects in this town. We don't care about vanity. Ever.
I got a question for you guys, and here I'm going into my journalist mode here.
No,
because
don't.
we're talking about the Live Local Act, right?
Sure.
And there's two projects that I've been looking at, and it's in the district. And one is by Baptist Hospital there on Kendall Drive. Anybody driven on Kendall Drive during rush hour traffic?
Is that what you call it? Driving?
Right.
Peter hasn't driven in 12 years.
The other one is in the neighborhood where I grew up when we moved to Miami from New York when I was a kid, Coral Gate, which is a wonderful neighborhood,
Beautiful.
1 block away from Coral Gables. My dad, I'll tell you this quickly, when we moved here from New York in the 60s, I was a kid, my dad wanted to buy a house in Coral Gables. And he looked at the price and he decided, you know what, instead of buying a house in Coral Gables, I'm going to buy 2 houses in Coral Gate.
Well,
There you go.
We're going to live in one, and
Good
we're gonna rent
immigrant
one out.
father.
My dad was a smart guy, and we would just cross the street, and we would be in Coral Gables. And the place that we went for entertainment was Sears on the corner of Coral Way and 37th Avenue.
It's still there.
Still there, but they want to put a high-rise there. Again, have you driven on 37th Avenue and Coral Way?
But they need the units.
They do need the units, but everything has to be taken together. It's not just piecemeal. It's like, yes, this is a good idea, and we do need the affordable housing, and that's what I want to fight for, but it has to be done smartly. And I'm not completely on board with taking away the power from the local municipalities because they know their community better than legislators in Tallahassee.
So the argument is that they might know the community better, but they don't know the real estate business better.
They do not know the real estate business.
And they don't. Frankly, they don't. And so they might impede a project from happening when it really shouldn't be impeded, which makes it economically infeasible for a developer to go through with their project and say, you know what, fuck it. I'd rather put up 35 ultra luxury units instead of 600 workforce housing units because that's where my margin is. And the good
Because
guy
the
that
land
don't-
costs us so much. Because it costs so much.
yeah,
to
the
buy
dirt's
land.
really expensive.
As a result, but what we're not talking about is the population in Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County, year over year, July 24 to July 2025, according to the census, We contracted by 67,000 people.
We're losing people, like
People are leaving.
10,000
It's too
people a year.
expensive. They're leaving.
Like my daughter. And how about people that have to commute 2 hours a day from Homestead, Broward County, or where they're coming
It's
from to
awful.
work in Brickell, downtown Miami?
We're a hospitality-based industry. How are you going to have a 5-star resort if the bartender's coming from Homestead?
I want to do a shout out real quick, if you guys would bear with me.
No.
To Matt Kusher, who owns restaurants called Kush.
Yes.
He is a
We love him.
wonderful guy. So he has the restaurant that is near, I'm not sure if it's actually in Wynwood, but very close.
It's on the train tracks, yeah.
On the train tracks.
Yeah.
And he built 10 affordable housing units above his restaurant, and I paid him a visit. And I think he's on the right track here, where he says we can identify lower density, smaller units that can be converted into workforce housing, where you don't have these massive high rises going up and adding more density. Can we identify those units and work with people like him? He was able to do it. And I said, Matt, you're not a contractor, you're a restaurateur, but he was able to do it.
He was
so
able to
there
do it.
are people that could do it. And by the way, those 10 units, he's now going to offer them to hospitality workers in Wynwood. They don't have to work for him. He wants to do it, and he wants to do more. And I told him, I want to work with you, and I want to work with people like you who are coming up with creative ways to address this issue.
Good guy, Matt. Get on the show. Get him on the show.
What I was going to say,
We
but
need to get him on the show.
one thing we need to keep in mind, though, is when we were coming out of the Great Recession, ultimately, we didn't start building again until the end of 2011. We've been on a run since 2012 going upward. We have not corrected. Typically, real estate cycle is 7 to 10 years.
Right.
So the only thing I'm saying is there is hope, millennials. There is hope, Gen Z. Your ability to buy something, I think, is coming pretty quick. And the reason it's coming is because it's probably going to be painful going through it. You're going to have a lot of people who are dealing with the whole Surfside situation. 5 years ago, next week is the anniversary.
40+% of buildings in Dade have had assessments on them. And I think that number is going to continue to go up.
And it's going to continue to go up. And at the same time, you got to make your building safe because now the state's mandating inspections. And guess what? We still got the lingering effects of Liberation Day tariffs. We also have the effects of supply chain. We have the effects of the Iran war and fuel costs. So if you're going there and you're trying to fix up your condo, which has been identified, you're getting hammered because of decisions made in Wall Street that I think are just preposterous.
I think you're right. Miami will become affordable again. I'm a buy.
I'm a pound that table, and I would, but it would screw up the whole.
Don't pound it.
I'm
We're
pound the
held
table.
up with band-aids over here.
Yeah, I am pounding that table.
I gotta say, I'm a buy because of good people like Matt Kusher, good people like Avergine, who is a developer who works with those type of projects, not the huge ones, but the smaller projects. And yeah, Miami, we've overcome so much adversity over the years. Hurricanes, riots, boat lifts. This is another challenge I think we're going to overcome as well.
I think we're going to overcome it. And even if we don't have the ability to, the market always makes us.
That's right.
That's right.
Right.
Well, we got to do something. You do get to DC, you got to do something about the cost of a Cuban sandwich. You used to be able to get it at $6. Now
that's his first 100 days, Peter. Really?
$18 for a Cuban sandwich. Sandwich is good, but $18 for a Cuban sandwich.
And a colada. I remember when a colada was less than $2.
Right?
Now I paid $4 for a colada the other day.
Plus
you know
about
why? Because of tariffs on coffee from Brazil.
Have you seen the cost of coffee?
I'm Cuban. I have to have my
coffee
cafecito.
index, man. He's got a coffee index.
Oh,
right?
do you?
Well, I track Cuban sandwiches and coffee. I like the I visit.
It's like the old McDonald's, the Big Mac index. He's got the Cuban coffee index.
Well, Uber Eats screwed it up because before people didn't know the pricing of Cuban sandwiches.
Right.
So there was arbitrage. Now they're all trade at the same price. It's killing the market. Guys like me who play off of the spreads.
All right. Alligator Alcatraz. So what?
It's closed, isn't it?
Well, so 2 days ago, ICE comes out and says the detainees are gone. You know, hurricane season, even though it's an El Nino year. We got our first tropical storm. Arthur went through the Gulf, hit Louisiana in the last couple of days.
And by the way, it opened last July, which was hurricane season.
Right.
Anyways, go ahead.
So $1 billion in contracts, several $100 million, I think, have already been spent. You know what the number one contractor for the detainee centers are, the detention centers are? It's a company called Duty Calls, porta potties. $210 million contract.
Wow.
Right.
Impressive.
So ICE says that they moved the detainees, but then Executive Director Kevin Guthrie of the Florida Division of Emergency Management, when questioned by the Miami Herald, says he hasn't been instructed by the federal government to pause operations in the Everglades Detention Center. So talking about facts, what are the facts here? I don't know. Despite Alligator Alcatraz even exists, and we're real estate guys, this is a real estate show, more foreigners bought new construction condos last year, despite Alligator Alcatraz opening, than they did the previous year.
Sure, but who are the people that are buying these condos? They're people with money who
Of course.
may not live here and they just want a place when they come to Miami. And you know, Miami is the hub of Latin America. I mean, that's because of our geographic position. That's never going to change. So we're always going to attract money from Latin America, depending on what circumstances are happening in those countries. So that's going to continue to happen. But Alligator Alcatraz is an abomination. It's part of a cruel and inhumane immigration policy by this administration. On top of that, it was built on environmentally sensitive land. On top of that, we were told that the federal government was going to foot the bill. Remember when they said it was $600 million, then it went up to $1 billion? Where's that federal money
We've
coming?
gotten 58 reportedly so far of the 608 they promised us.
Yeah. It seems like a typical Donald Trump deal, right? You do the work.
Best
and
deal. The best deal.
I may or may not pay you. Probably won't pay you.
The Iran deal's dead, I heard.
It's dead now.
Dead?
Joshua, is it dead?
That's paused right now.
Paused.
It's
Paused.
Well,
I had a Kalshi bet out on there, it was going to fail. That's why.
I heard it, but Iran announced that they were creating a new agency where you were if you're gonna pass through, you would have to notify them 48 hours in advance.
Oh, like a toll?
But they weren't going to toll until after 60 days from now.
So we're going to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to make sure that the Strait of Hormuz, which was already open, will stay open.
Well, because they can't get a nuclear weapon, guys.
Well, we
Obviously.
obliterated. Supposedly we had obliterated.
Oh, they'd obliterate us. I can't keep up with the facts.
I can't keep up. Doesn't make sense.
So Alligator Alcatraz, I mean,
It's a pop-up detention center. Get this.
Oh.
50 miles due west of Brickell City Center. So if you ever go to Sugar, which is the
You can
hotel
see it?
bar- Yeah, if you
on
you
a
can't
clear
see
day,
it.
maybe? I don't know.
But if you walk out and you make a right, you go 50 miles due west, you're at Alligator Alcatraz.
Oh, I thought you were at Belen Jesuit.
Well, you're
We
gonna
got to pass it. Yeah.
you're gonna go past the Miccosukee
That's right.
and all the way down. But the point I'm making is, we are a community, Tri-County, 42% is foreign born, 6.2
Yeah.
million people. Miami-Dade County, 55% foreign born. You look at real estate, Miami Association of Realtors have come up with a study in November saying 52% of pre-construction buys.
50.
55?
No, 52 and 85% of those are
From
Latinos.
Latin America.
Right.
If you are pitching and hawking condos, which is what we do, we've been doing it for 100 years. We hawk land, now we're hawking condos.
Why aren't you speaking up?
That's your market. Real estate industry, you just announced you got 93,000 members. You're banging everybody $1,000 a year to be a member. Why aren't you defending the real estate industry?
Really nice headquarters, by the way.
Why aren't they defending the industry? I don't understand. And here's the other part. If you came down here in 2021, 2022, 2023, because you could work from home, you didn't have to wear a mask because Florida was open,
Right.
and Miami Beach permitted you to work on a police car. If you came down
get
for
that.
any or all three of those reasons, you paid too much. You were the winning bidder. Now you need to sell. Who are you selling your condo to with any kind of appreciation if the would-be buyers are being targeted by guys with masks who jump out of a van and they disappear? That's the question. Where is the real estate industry? If you are a real estate professional, you need to reach out to whatever industry group you got and get up their ass, because they are dropping the ball and the situation. Florida sells real estate. That's what we do. How
And
are you
cruises.
targeting? Well, cruises too. But how are you not defending this? I don't get it.
Because the people that are buying are too rich to care.
They're too rich to care until they need people to do work for them.
Yeah, you don't care until you have to care. And
Yes.
that's the story of South Florida, is it not?
It's pretty sad also when you have people who will go to a restaurant and eat the food that was cooked by an immigrant and served by an immigrant, and then they have their children, in many cases, babysat by an immigrant, and their parents in a nursing home taken care of by an immigrant to their day's end. And the immigrant will bathe your parent and change their diapers, but then at the end of the day, they say, oh, undocumented immigrants should not be allowed to have a driver's license, or they're eating your pets. And that was one of the things that really convinced me to do this, because my parents are immigrants. And when I was born in New York, my parents met in New York. They're both Cuban, but they met in New York. And when they got married, I was born. My dad had finalized all his immigration papers, but my mother had just arrived the previous year. So if they had stopped me, if ICE had existed back then and they had stopped my family, they would have found my dad, who was fine. He had done everything the right way. They would have found me, who was born in New York with birthright citizenship. Thank you, 14th Amendment to the Constitution.
So far, unless the Supreme Court makes a
Right.
different decision.
But they could have grabbed my mother, because my mother had not finalized to stay in this country that long. She was probably working on it. So that's when I said, this is wrong. And same thing you guys are saying. How can some people think that's okay, but then on the other hand, rely on people to feed them, take care of their kids, and take care of their elderly parents, and do everything else for them, clean their homes, cut the grass and everything else, but they're somehow subhuman, and that's not right.
That's not right. And I think a lot of Americans would probably be against that. I mean, everybody wants hope. They want a reason. They want a path. Give us hope, and people will do whatever's necessary. And then in terms of all the paperwork, I mean, come on, give them a system with the paperwork where it's actually efficient, and I think people would do it. I don't think people are avoiding or sort of ignoring the paperwork requirement. I just think the process is so jammed up intentionally.
Well, you can get an EB-5 visa, $1,050,000, and you get a fast track to citizenship.
There you go.
But you need to have $1,050,000 in cash, right?
Yes.
It's not the Trump gold. That's why I thought the Trump gold card thing was so ridiculous. It's like, we already have this, and it costs a fifth. And by the way, you get an interest rate on it. It's like 0.003% or whatever they're offering you. But if you have the cash, that's actually not a bad way to go
Probably
about it.
people who buy that visa are the same people who bought the Trump telephone. Remember that?
Oof.
The Trump mobile phone. How's that going?
I think it's made in China.
I don't
Seriously.
think have they actually made them? I
No,
don't think
they
so.
delivered them, and they, the tech YouTuber guys have gone up and they've deconstructed, and they said, "Oh, this is the identical of this Chinese phone. It's just got gold plating on it."
There you go.
Well, and one last tidbit I would just sort of talk about with the immigration and stuff is during the pandemic, it was all about essential workers.
Yeah.
You need the essential workers. You got to keep the restaurants afloat. All of a sudden, the table turns.
We forgot about it.
And I don't know how many people who were essential workers would have basically fallen under the target right now. But let's go to, fair is fair. And that's what we're losing, I think, in this country is the fairness. Give everybody a shot. Everybody's here to do something good. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of hustlers, and they will be doing stuff, but the system will catch up with them.
Right.
Why are you just targeting everybody? I mean, the whole Minneapolis situation was just shocking the way it went down. It was also shocking how the community came together. They stood up. And my question is, why aren't they doing it in Miami-Dade County? And I think I know the answer. The answer is too many people are at risk or their family members are at risk. That's why when you get some of these No King Parade things, a lot of people turn out. A lot of people turn out, but a lot of people who turn out, they don't necessarily seem like the ones who would be targeted by ICE.
Right.
Is what I would say. So I am happy that you are seeing locals step forward and basically show how dissatisfied they are with this immigration policy. This city is based on immigrants. That's why I live here.
Absolutely.
That's why
That's why I'm here too.
Buy, sell, hold, alligator Alcatraz. So what? I'm selling.
I'm selling.
I'm selling. I think it's a big deal. So what is damn right? So what? It's a big deal.
Alligator Alcatraz is going to go down, and Governor DeSantis he'll be part of his legacy.
His legacy, absolutely.
So I wanna come back east of Alligator Alcatraz, all the way east, all the way to the Barrier Island. You were on the ground during the Surfside, or right after the Surfside condo tower collapse, and I'm sure you were integral in your own way as a journalist to get that condo legislation done. Vicky Lopez really pushed that across the finish line. And Peter and I talk about this a lot. We were talking about assessments earlier. Are condo towers safer now? Extrapolating the affordability piece, which is something we can't escape, but from a structural, physical standpoint, are they safer now?
I hope so, because I live in a condo.
There you go. Did you get assessed?
Well, yes. So quickly, I'll tell you, I lived in Coral Gables for a long time. I've lived in different parts of this district, but for the longest time I was in Coral Gables. And once my daughters grew up and got married and moved out, and once my dog passed away, I told my wife, what do we need a big house for? So we sold our house and we moved into a condo, fully cognizant of the challenges. And one of the people I talked to right here was Peter, asking him about the assessments and asking him about the HOA, the veracity of their finances, and looking at their reserves. And I did my homework, and I'm in a building that I feel very good about, but we still got assessed. Absolutely. We did get assessed, and we know that that's a possibility moving forward. But we enjoy living there. I enjoy especially my views of Biscayne Bay, so I'm very happy to have it. But I know there is a cost involved with it. And
But you don't have to hire the pool guy. You don't have to hire the landscaping
listen,
guy.
I'll tell you, when I lived in a house, I would tell my daughters, girls, come over. I'm going to do a barbecue and pool party. They'd come over, and then I'd be getting ready for the barbecue. And I'll tell you, between us, I don't like barbecuing, but I would do it. And I'd be going in and out of the house, and I'd see the girls inside. I'd say, what are you guys doing in here? The party's outside. They're like, Dad, it's too hot outside. Or,
Just been over the barbecue for 2 hours.
Dad, the mosquitoes are killing us. And now in the condo, when they come over, I say, hey, girls, you want to go to the pool? It's downstairs. And there are no mosquitoes. And there's a barbecue there if you want to use it, use it. So I
Then you
love
just
it.
go back up to your unit.
I just love I love the lifestyle. I've a lot of friends, and it works for us. It might not be for everybody. And yes, the assessments are a reality, and we've seen them.
And they're only going up.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Peter.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean,
Facts.
But
He deals with
Facts.
That's
He's
right.
a very factual driven guy.
well, now if you look at the legislation that went into place, basically every 10 years you are doing a study, whether it's structural integrity reserve
Right.
study, SIRS, or you're doing a milestone inspection at year 30. But every 10 years you are basically getting an assessment of the building,
Right.
and the fees are going up. You will always be getting a special assessment going forward. I don't see any way where it could actually pull back, but maybe some of it's good. Now we're going to really understand these buildings. We're going to know which ones are dogs, which ones are
But
fantastic.
hold on a second. When I lived in a house, I would have to put a new roof, or I had bad plumbing where I had
But
to tear.
you got to decide if you wanted to kick the can on that or not.
Yes.
With a condo
Sure.
now, they say, well, now we're going to put a lien on your unit if you guys don't pay this.
Sure, but these are improvements that have to be made.
But if you're on fixed income, if you're a 75-year-old person and you've been here for 30 years and all of a sudden this is too expensive for you, then what do? You got to sell for, well, you got to be the cheapest in the building because your building's got 30% of the units on the market.
Right.
You got to sell now.
Right.
The benefit is, though, if your cost basis, if you bought this thing in the 80s, you're probably paying nothing in taxes. Your gains on it, because it's your primary, are going to be minimal.
Right.
Or
Well, I had the where you can roll over the
like
homestead exemption.
$500,000, right?
Yes, portability.
Portability.
So the
yeah.
portability helped a lot.
So now but folks can go buy a few acres in North Carolina for the cost of their 3-bedroom condo in a new construction building.
That's right.
I mean, they got to find something to do.
And if you want to live in North Carolina, good for you.
Exactly.
I like living here.
I like living here. Peter likes living here. Peter, you just got a new place, huh?
I wouldn't live in any. I would. No. Listen, what I think is, I think we're going to see a pullback in pricing, and I think the reason we're going to see a pullback in pricing, a lot of people have been in their condos.
We're already seeing a pullback, Peter.
No, but I think we're going to see a dramatic pullback because I think these people are going to get squeezed. I think as the rubbers meet in the road, 2026, you now have to fund all the work that's been identified in these studies done by licensed architects, licensed engineers, and if you don't do the work, you're not going to be able to get insurance. And if you can't get insurance, everybody in that association.
Well, but there's
basically
so
it's
many
the fault of the
private
mortgage.
insurers coming into the market now.
But do you think there's going to be enough to ultimately backstop it? I don't think it's getting backstopped. I think we're seeing a big pullback in pricing, and I think the millennials and I think Gen Z, their moment's upon us.
Well, let me ask you, since you mentioned, are we going to do a buy or sell?
We're going to do a buy sell hold on this. Yeah, you want to do a buy sell hold?
Let's do it.
Buy sell hold. Condo towers are getting safer.
Safer. I'm a hold because I think they understand how to do it, but I don't think they can afford to do it. I don't think the people who need to come up with the cash, there's been 2 bankruptcies that occurred in condo associations, one in Miami Beach, one in Delray Beach. They've identified the problem. People can't afford to pay for it. So I would be a hold. I think conceptually, in the classroom, we're good. On the street, I think we're,
Kaput.
well, like they say in Tampa, tits up.
Got to say it once every show, maybe 3 times. Buy sell hold, Eliott.
I'm a buy because I think that these regulations are needed in order to prevent, God forbid, another Surfside.
But are they
tragedy.
working?
They're working in my building.
All right. Well, you can only speak from experience.
And like a contractor told me, every $2 million of restoration work is 1 year of guys swinging hammers. 1 year of the food truck pulling up.
Oh, I hear it.
Na, na,
Believe me.
na, 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 na. Everybody comes down, they're smoking a
There's no guest parking in your building.
drinking
It's all
a colada,
contractors.
they're eating the ropa vieja,
Yes,
and a couple croquetas.
What are you doing? Buy or sell?
I'm
Hold.
gonna hold like Peter. We look at the data. A lot of buildings aren't even reporting what they have to report,
That's right.
mandated by the state. You look at the community association register. How many condos are there in Miami-Dade County? How many buildings, Peter?
Well, Tri-County is 760,000 units. 13,000 associations, about more than a third's in Dade.
So, I mean, are these guys actually all even registering? Is there enforcement? Is, you know, the state spent all these resources writing up this legislation. They voted on it. They said, here's the rule. If they're not enforcing it, then like it's toothless.
Yeah, but
And will they be able to enforce it if
Well, so you're saying the insurance market's going to be
yeah,
enforced better?
I think it's like the feds do with money laundering. They rely on the bank to report. And I think that's what's happening. A lot of these associations, it'll be the insurance companies that ultimately out the particular associations, and then the state will get involved after the fact. This is the way I think it's going to get done.
And if we're going to cut funding to municipalities, then we're going to have money to pay inspectors to make sure that we're
We're
following.
going to have like 3
these
inspectors
rules.
in the whole county.
Why are you so logical?
Gosh. No. You need to tell us facts. I think if we can advise you on anything, just start talking out your ass. All right. Hey, Peter, I love libraries. We love libraries. Don't you love libraries?
I love the library.
I love learning. I love knowledge.
Yes.
I just don't want to have a library. A Trump presidential library. By the way,
you're
you know,
talking about that. That's a condo tower.
oh, it's a condo tower. I thought it was a hotel.
A hotel slash condo.
You're an MDC graduate, are you not?
I did.
Yeah, I pulled old newspaper clippings of you.
Really?
And if you pull the ads, they used to advertise MDC alum and the hey Eliott.
Yeah.
All right. So I didn't have to put many notes on this. We're obviously not very happy about it. So we had Dr. Marvin Dunn on the show. Excellent gentleman. I'm sure
Yes,
you met him.
I do.
And he was properly upset. And he's an 85-year-old man. He
Still
looks,
going strong.
he
though.
looks great.
Yeah.
And he is pissed,
He is.
as we all should be pissed. So this Trump presidential library, is there anything that can be done? Because from what I've read some reports.
Why don't we lay it out for anybody who doesn't know?
So back in September, we were just coming back from a trip to Morocco. It's delightful if you've not been. And I get a bing notification, and it says that Miami-Dade College is voting to convey a 2.5-acre site to the Trump Presidential Library Foundation. Oh, just a little one-liner. And then they vote unanimously on it. It was like one day to the next, and bam. And I go, Peter, did you hear about this? He goes, yeah, I heard it. There's something. You know where it is? He goes, yeah, let's look it up. Peter runs the numbers. Peter, tell him how much you think that was worth.
Well, you get to 1,000 units per acre, 2.5 acres, right there on Biscayne Boulevard and about the entrance to Port Miami, right across from Bayside, right next to, across the street from Freedom Tower.
Right.
And
Ironic.
So 1,000 units per acre based on current pricing, about $2 million a door. If you wanted to go forward and build it, no parking requirement. Parking would have been 2,500 units times 1.5 parking spaces, which is 40 grand a spot. Basically, the site sells out for north of $2 billion, and land costs on that should be about $368 million.
Wait. Thomas Regalado said it's worth 67.
Well, 67 might have been like a portion of it, like a small little pie crust. Like, you guys ever go to Casola's? Casola's a good little pizza place.
Love that place.
Well, if you go to Casola's, why you order a slice, you get the sample. The 67 million that Tomas Regalado is talking about is a free sample of Casola's. That is not the site.
Come on, that is prime real estate. You can walk to Biscayne Bay from there.
And you have to build parking.
$10.
$10. That's what they conveyed it for.
Right.
They conveyed it for $10. So,
And it was going to be effectively the annuity for Miami-Dade College.
right. We don't have an endowment.
This would have set up basically a way to fund for the college any single thing they want to do forward. And then now, what did they get in return besides the $10?
Eduardo Padron rolling in his grave.
Eduardo Padron purchased that property for Miami-Dade College.
And when he bought it, it was not a good neighborhood.
For the students of Miami-Dade College. And he was a visionary.
Yes.
And somebody who knew that was going to be prime real estate, which indeed it is. And it's right next to the Freedom Tower. And to put a Trump hotel, condo, whatever you want to call it, won't be a library, is just an abomination. It does not belong there. And my hat's off to Marvin Dunn, but also there's a lawsuit. An attorney in Miami, Gerald Greenberg, filed a lawsuit on behalf of students, Miami-Dade College, saying that, listen, you're putting your hand in my pocket and taking away from my future. And that's what that lawsuit is all about. And hopefully, I want to go to Congress to do whatever I can to stop this giveaway. Of course, this was a state deal. The state of Florida finagled this deal with Miami-Dade College to give it to the Trump administration. But people are angry about it. People do not support
Rightfully
it.
so.
Students at Miami-Dade College do not afford it, and they're the ones that are losing out on this.
But doesn't President Trump already have a library?
He does. That's where, from his first term, he has a library. They didn't think he was going to go for a second term because he was down and out. So they put all of his files and stuff in like a little warehouse up there in the Northeast.
I thought his library was the bathroom at Mar-a-Lago where he kept our top secret documents.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I forgot about that. But Marvin Dunn, he told us that he was in talks with the college to actually turn that into an urban farm.
Yes.
Urban farm. Yep.
So
he has one.
he has many. He has a few of them.
Yeah.
His most prominent one, maybe the first one, is over there in Overtown,
Yes.
which is supposed to be where that underdeck, $60 million
And that was
park.
taken away from the community
DEI.
because of the letters DEI.
Yes, sir.
The deal.
And Marvin Dunn, we're not even saying it. He told us straight from the horse's mouth, it's not even a black neighborhood anymore. So what's all DEI about it?
That's right. Because it happened to be in the plans, and they just went. I guess they went through all the federal contracts, and if
They
you
say
see the letters
Control
DEI,
F
kill it out
DEI. That's
and
what
take
they
it out.
did.
That's what they did, and that's a slap in the face to that community of Overtown, which is a historic black community in Miami. There was a time where African Americans could not even walk in Miami Beach after 6 o'clock unless they had an ID as a worker, and many entertainers that would come to Miami Beach to entertain would stay in Overtown, and they had hotels and clubs, and that was like the in spot. It's like the second Harlem in South
Oh,
Florida.
I got Red Rooster there. It's fantastic.
Red Rooster's fantastic. I love that place. But when they built I-95, they went right through it. So this was sort of to say, hey, Overtown, we did something really
My
bad
bad.
years ago, but now we want to
Right.
do something good. It's connect Overtown to Biscayne Bay, which is perfect, which is what we should be doing. So we need to fight to get that funding back for the underdeck.
And don't get me wrong, I am not against the Trump Presidential Library being there because it's Donald Trump.
Just not there, or pay for it.
Pay for it. Spend the money. Spend the money for the place. He's gonna bank on it. If it's
Well, no, you know who's banking is Steve Witkoff, who overpaid for that site by the Miami Arena.
That's right.
Exactly. But if you want to build it, come on down. You are more than willing and welcome to come here and build. But pay
So
for
we
it.
should clarify something. Steve Witkoff is a developer and
Yes.
a real estate guy,
Yes.
but yet he is negotiating.
He was a negotiator along with.
He's negotiating the end to military conflicts around the
Oh
world.
yeah, that too. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were still talking about the Miami Arena. He's a jack of all trades.
I guess so. Mhm.
That underdeck site is interesting because that was supposed to be federally funded. Is that something that you'd be able to work on?
Yeah, absolutely, because that was approved under President Biden.
Sure.
For that funding, it was taken out by the Trump administration because of the letters DEI, and I'm going to do everything possible to restore that funding and to have the underdeck built. Because the right
That's
thing
what
to
we
do.
care about here, because it's not. You know what? There are you got Club 11 there on the underdeck.
Cabaret, do not call it a strip joint.
Yeah, don't call it a strip joint. They really don't like that.
I think I'm the only person in Miami who hasn't been to Club 11. And now that I'm running for Congress, I won't be there.
I don't think you should go. It's not advisable.
You know it?
No, never heard of it. It's a condo tower.
Your
There's
wife
three of
is
them.
laughing right now, sir.
My wife? That's my wife. But Mr. Simpkins and his partner, they have a lot there on the proposed underdeck site on sale for $500 million.
$500 million.
$500 million. So how could it possibly be DEI if you got multi-billion-dollar development potential along this park? I mean, that would be gorgeous. Look what the High Line did for the city of New York. That was just an ugly overpass for a subway train.
Right.
But what you said is interesting because you're talking about $500 million for
Correct.
the site. That is 3 blocks off Biscayne Boulevard. The Trump site is on Biscayne
No,
Boulevard.
it's-
How is that one going for $500 million and this one's worth $67 million?
I think you should up your appraisal. $600 million. What do you say?
I say this is a typical Miami hustle. This is a hustle that's going down.
Well, I don't think we have enough time to talk about Fisher Island fuel terminals. We'll have to have Eliott back on after the primaries.
I want to say a good word about the underline that Meg Daly has been working on for
They
so
did-
long.
they
and
did
they
a
are
very
doing
good job with that.
fantastic.
It took a little while, though.
Taken a while,
It took a little
but
while.
It is taking shape, and my hat's off to them. And that's a wonderful project. So, with all this bad news, there are glimmers of hope. and there are people doing good work. And my hat's off to Meg Daly for what she's doing.
And listen, we're a resilient community. I think a lot of people sort of look the
We
other
are.
way. We'll put up with Flagler Street taking years and years and years to get completed, whether it be on the east side of the river or the west side of the river. It's just as long as there's, it's as long as there's hope is
If
what I
you're
would say.
somebody like me who has been through hurricanes, riots, you name it, here in South Florida, you know that we are a very resilient community, and that we will get through these challenges that we have.
Well, we also
Because
can't be
we've done it
bullshit.
before.
You also cannot bullshit this community.
Well,
These
no,
people come from
no
so
bullshit.
many different places, and I think this is the part that some of the other people are. I don't think they're giving people sitting at the table enough credit for their intelligence. They're talking down to them, and I think that's the part that's really kind of infuriating when you hear stuff like when I hear about the Trump Presidential Library site. It's just like Dr. Marvin Dunn. I think he's dead on. He's stepping forward because he said, "Don't bullshit us. If you want to do the
Marvin Dunn
development."
lived through the civil rights movement. He's not stepping down to
Yes.
nobody.
Right.
And I salute him, and I salute you for standing up. You're fighting a good fight, and I'm sure your parents will be very proud, as well as your former editors.
Thank you. And I have heard from my former editors, and I've heard from a lot of people who have said that. But thank you very much, Peter. Good to hear from you.
All right. Last buy, sell, hold of the day. I'm giving it to Eliott. We love libraries.
I love libraries, but on this particular library, it's a firm hold.
To hold. He's holding.
I'm a pound the table, flip that damn thing over, sell.
I love libraries. I love books. I don't think there's going to be any books in this one. So I'm selling that. I'm selling. He's holding. I'm selling. You're selling. That's the show. Mr. Eliott Rodriguez. Hey, pleasure to meet you. I've never met you before. I want that on the record. Good luck in primary, sir.
Thank you so
I hope
much.
you make it through.
Thank
and then you'll be up against Maria Elvira Salazar.
María Elvira Salazar.
Also a former broadcaster.
Ella trabajó en español. Así que yo también hablo español, así que voy a debatir con ella en español. ¿Qué te parece?
You can go to Hialeah too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man. We'll see everybody else next Friday, as we do every single Friday live right here on YouTube, Substack, and Instagram. Thanks.